If you believe everyone, no matter where they live, deserve a place to call home, you're not alone. On Housing for Good, host Chris Goodson and Karolyn Moore explore housing solutions from McPherson to communities across Kansas and beyond. We bring you stories and insights from housing experts, policymakers, and people who are making a real impact. Join the conversation. Listen wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, and more, because housing isn't just local, it's universal.
Welcome to Housing for Good, a podcast dedicated to housing topics and issues affecting our communities in McPherson County and beyond. With years of experience and expertise, hosts Chris Goodson and Karolyn Moore discuss housing challenges and opportunities with other experts from a variety of housing fields.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Housing for Good. I'm Karolyn.
And I'm Chris.
So, Chris, what do you have for news?
Well, like I told our guests last time, we are working with the Kansas Housing Advocacy Network.
Yeah.
They have legislation in Topeka about housing, homelessness, residential landlord-tenant act is a lot of it. And so I wanted to go over another section with the listeners today, and I'm trying to keep it short so we don't hog up the whole time with all of this, because this is like a 4-page deal.
Yeah.
So we're just taking a little bit of it. So here's the next one. Establish a baseline housing code for non-owner occupied rental properties. I'm really excited about this. So this is a current version. As the default property maintenance code for non-owner occupied residential rental properties, cities can strengthen standards if they choose, but no Kansas family should be left without basic habitability protections. And so that is happening. I have been called before by people who don't have a kitchen sink, whose bathtub is not working. We had somebody that I think they had rodents in their homes. We've had people, and there's not a whole lot anybody can do about it. If they complain, then a lot of times the landlord is like, well, if you don't like it, then you can leave. Well, and then they'll find someone else to live there.
Yeah.
It's the KRTLA Guarantees Safe Habitable Housing. It's KSA 582553A1. So if you are somebody who really likes to research this topic, you can look that up for yourselves. It says the landlord shall comply with the requirements of applicable building and housing codes materially affecting health and safety. However, Kansas is one of 2 states that has not adopted default codes. So in cities and counties without a building or housing code, landlords are not held to a standard, which really is bothersome. So that's one of the things that they are looking at, is trying to have codes, just simple housing habitability codes, which to me is so important. I mean, are you going to let somebody live in your rental property in a condition that you yourself wouldn't live in? I certainly wouldn't sleep at night doing that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the news from me.
Okay.
I know you have to talk about something else really quick, and then we'll get to our guest.
Yeah, so I want to just remind everybody about the Alternative Christmas Gift Market. It's coming up on November 8th. It'll be held at the Cedars Event Center, and it's from 9 to noon. And basically, it's an opportunity for people to come in and learn about the nonprofits in McPherson County, the work we do. It is the availability for you to make a donation to help that nonprofit, and it's at Christmas time. So I love looking for ways to give a gift in honor of somebody instead of another toy.
Right.
You give money to a group that's doing good work, and you're honoring your loved one.
Yeah, if you live in McPherson County or somewhere close by, come to the Alternative Christmas Market. There's a lot of great nonprofits. They do a lot of great work. So yes, please come if you're anywhere close. And I think can't you do it online if you can't come in?
They will have an online option. It will be available after the November 8th activity. And then we're also trying to get this information into churches. So if you attend church someplace and you've never heard of this, if you'll just reach out to the Housing Coalition, I'll send you information, get you information to share with the people in your congregation. So,
okay, that's awesome. Who do we have today, Karolyn?
So I'm really happy to have Edgar Gates with us. Edgar is one of our clients at the Oak Harbor Emergency Shelter Cottages. And Edgar, when I met you, You called because you were on the verge of being homeless and you're a senior and you just didn't know if we could do anything to help point you in a direction for help.
That's correct.
And so tell us about...
It's even a little more than that.
Yeah.
With my wife being in a nursing home, we knew she wasn't going to live too much longer. So to get blindsided and thrown out of where I lived and be in a position where I never heard of this organization before, and I had to be up, I walk up 4 days a week to spend the day with my wife to make sure she's taken care of properly. So I was up there, and two of the workers, within an hour of each other, mentioned McPherson Housing Coalition. One of them actually went, looked up the number, came back and gave it to me. That's when I spoke to you, and I met with you the next day, and you invited me to come and live in one of these, which was like something sent from God to me. I mean, that's how it felt. I mean, my mind, I mean, worrying about my wife, and then not knowing, you know, within a week, I didn't know where I was going to sleep. I didn't know where I was going to eat. I didn't know. If I was younger, it would have been not quite as bad, but when you're in your 70s, it starts to get pretty scary.
Now, part of your story was that your wife had gone into the nursing home, and you had originally joined her there to live with her.
I did. My financial situation was dire, and they kept telling me, well, come in here, come in here. So I talked to them for months, and then I finally decided to go in there with her, and I was in there for 10 and a half months.
Okay.
And I knew some people that I had worked with previously. They ran into me at Walmart, and they said, what's going on? And I said, what do you mean? I said, I'm okay. They said, no, what's going on? Something ain't right. So I told them a little bit, and they just said, go get your stuff, come over here. So I rented a room off them, and I was there for 2 years. And I really liked it there. I mean, they kept telling me, your family, your family, your family. And then, like I say, with all the problems you have already with your wife not doing well, and I'm walking 3 miles one way 4 days a week to visit my wife. So, of course, that doesn't leave me a lot of time other than just the fret in my mind. So after talking to you, even though all my problems weren't solved, of course, I didn't have to worry about not being there for my wife 100%. You freed me up to not have to worry about that. I knew eventually I would have to, but for the next, but she died 5 weeks later. So for those 5 weeks, that was one thing that I didn't have to worry about when I was worried so much about my wife. You know, and when that's all you have in this world, it's a little rough. So I wanted to make sure that I'll be telling everybody about this place, even though I won't be living here. I've already told numerous people. I talk about you people all the time. I guess the big thing I want people to know is, I don't know if you people understand how much you're helping someone, because there's a lot of people that aren't going to say anything. But when they're by themselves or when they lay their head down on a pillow, it's just, I don't even know if I could describe the feeling to you. It's such a feeling of calmness and, you know, hey, you're okay. That's why I say it's like it came from God. That's how I felt. I felt like this is God here.
Well, and I don't think you're necessarily one of a kind when it comes to seniors that maybe they can't afford the rent anymore. They're in a situation and they move in with somebody thinking, okay, this will be great. I'll be family. It'll be so much fun. And then for whatever reason, that relationship goes south. And when you don't have your name on that lease, how quickly you can be demanded to get out.
See, that makes a good point, because that's something I probably should have thought of, but I never did, because they kept telling me I'm family and that's my home. And that's actually one of the reasons why I decided to go back to Pennsylvania, because if I go back there, that's something I don't have to contend with. Because there's not a chance anywhere around that they would put me out in the street, not at one chance. So no matter how bad it would get there, I know I'm not going to be out in the street, which is scary. The thought of it at first was like, okay, I can handle it. But when it actually comes to that time, I was, one night I couldn't stay there, and I stayed in the park. And that's as scared as I've been. I was never scared of much. But that was as scared as I've been in my whole life.
So people in our community think that we don't have people that are struggling. And this is a perfect example of what is happening within every community, whether you're a small community like we are or a large city. We have a senior sleeping in a park, which kills me, but that brings me joy to think that he was felt so safe within our project.
Are you kidding me? It was like a godsend.
Yes, I mean it's just, and that's what we have wanted to create, is something that people would feel safe and feel how much they're cared about.
Well, I can only speak for myself.
Yes,
but you gave me that feeling 100%. I mean, I don't know how to explain to you the relief, even though you know that's not permanent. It's just the relief to give you that. Like I say, with my wife not doing. I'm watching her pass slowly. So when you're thinking about that and you're trying to be with her and trying to comfort her, and all these thoughts keep flooding into your head about where are you going to live? What are you going to do? Where are you going to sleep? How are you going to eat? Well, if you don't take care of yourself, how can you try to take care of somebody else? So that's what you people gave me, the possibility to be able to do all that. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
One thing I would like for you to do is just explain to people what it was like to be there. I remember when I took you to the cottages and I said, okay, I just want you to focus on Emma. Just know that you're safe and that you have a place to be. And we're going to work through everything that you need to do between now and when your wife passes, and then you decide on permanent housing or moving back to Pennsylvania.
Well, that's another thing.
There was a lot of options that you were kind of kicking around.
Yeah, and that's another thing you people do. I never expected to. I mean, I knew there were things I wanted to do. You take them step by step. I never expected anybody to go through that with me and actually physically help me do that. And look, I got a call from them people to offer me I don't think I would have been able to do it in a timely manner that you helped me do it in, because you helped me focus. And that's another thing that you people do. You don't just let people stay there to just stay there. You do things that'll help them along their way to their next point. That's so remarkably tremendous. I mean, it makes a big difference. It actually tells that person that, this person doesn't even know me that well, but they obviously care.
Yeah.
So it's not something you have to think about being a resident there. You just feel it. You see it. You people portray that. It's an amazing thing. And a lot of people, I'm surprised I'm talking about it a lot. I talk about it with other people, but it's truly, it boggles my mind. The comfort you give someone, the comfort you gave me, I'm about ready to cry because it was remarkable. It was absolutely remarkable.
I remember asking you, so we would meet weekly. We would have what we call a weekly check-in. And I would just kind of ask, okay, do you need some food? What are you working on this week? How's your wife doing? And we would just kind of go through those steps. And I remember you telling me, I said, Edgar, I can get you taxi passes. Nope, save that for somebody else that needs it. I will walk to Walmart and get what I need, and then I'll call a taxi and have them bring me back home. Because you have a limited income. You do receive Social Security.
That's basically what I'm living on, and I get a small pension.
Yeah.
And it's pretty small, but
yeah.
And that's what I live on now. Well, when I worked before, CanCare, who was paying for my wife to be in the home mostly, they would take like 70% of that. So I just thought, why should I wear myself out? And then when I talked to the people where I'm living, they agreed that it's probably a good idea that I didn't work.
Yeah.
So I would help out.
Yeah.
I cut their grass. I did their dishes.
Yeah.
I vacuumed their home. And I was happy to do it all.
Yeah.
And we've noticed that at the cottages. He's always running around helping you with weeds and different things.
Yes.
You've been a joy to be there, quite honestly.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Yes. We don't always get that, but it's been a joy.
I was telling her, I think it was you, it might have been Tammy, I could live in one of those things for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
I could.
They're
really nice.
They're kind of the right size, especially if you're a single person. You do have 2 bedrooms, and I noticed in the second bedroom you kind of put storage stuff in there.
Yeah, I just threw stuff for later, yeah.
But, okay, so another thing that you had to walk the journey on that most folks don't realize is that journey of your spouse is going to pass, and you have to contact the funeral home, and the next step to go with the life insurance. So tell us how we were able, either myself or Tammy was able to help you through that process.
Well, people helped me be grounded. When you have the problems that I was having, you don't realize it at the time. But there's things that you don't think about, the right way, clearly. My walking has helped me with that. But mostly you guys did everything all along the way to help me with everything. And it was mind-boggling. You kept offering me food. I was like, wow, I probably wouldn't even have to buy food,
Yeah.
even though I felt weird not doing that,
Yes,
because, you want to hold your own. I'm a guy.
Yeah.
And you want to try to hold your own as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But that's how I accepted the help, by the way. A lady that lived next door to where I was living there, she got upset with me one day, and she said, you're always doing everything for everybody else. How come you won't accept help? I said, what do you mean? She said, you're just like anybody I see that helps people too much.
Oh.
They don't want to accept help. So I actually went to her and I said, okay, there is a way you can help me. Get me up to Lincoln to take care of the funeral arrangements. Mm-hmm. And she went one step further and said that she wanted to take me up for the funeral, too. She would not accept any gas money.
Wow.
But she did let me take her to lunch both them days.
Okay.
Which made me feel better because she's giving me a ride and not going to accept gas money, and it's 75 miles one way.
Yeah.
People do not realize that we do offer a food pantry there, because our families, sometimes they come in and they're starting over. And you don't think about all the things that you need because they are fully furnished, but you also don't think about the fact that they need food.
And that just shows what you people
food.
think about everything.
Yeah.
Who would, I would have never thought, they're going to supply you food if you need it. My goodness gracious. People need to know how amazing. There's not a lot of people that are going to be willing to do that stuff to help people. And there's so many of us out there. I meet people more than I would have that are similar situations. And you think you're alone. You don't think there's no way, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Mm-hmm. And look at me. If those people wouldn't have said something to me about you, I would have never known about the Housing Coalition.
Yeah.
Doesn't it break your heart to think of him spending one night in the park?
Oh, yes, it does.
It was scary.
It makes, I just want to burst. But
I don't even like to admit it, but I was scared.
Yeah.
Very scared.
Yeah.
Very scared.
Yeah. I'm so happy.
And
that
even
we were
being
able
in
to
a
do
safe
that.
place like McPherson, can you imagine if I was somewhere where it's not so safe to be?
I wouldn't have been felt safe sleeping in the park, even for one night.
Well, I didn't sleep much.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either. I mean, you don't know what happens when the lights go out anywhere. And so, but I'm so happy that we were able to help. It really makes me happy that you did that.
You have no idea what you've done for me. You have no idea. Seriously.
So one of the things that we've kind of helped you do while you were there was you started reconnecting with a younger sister. Because I remember asking you, is there anybody that you need to notify that Emma is going to pass? Is there anybody that we need to let know that? And can you get a hold of them? And through that conversation, you then reached out, or a sister called you.
I let one of my sisters know that my wife passed.
Yeah.
And she called me. She invited me I can't fly, so she was going to give me a train ticket to go there to visit. Mm-hmm. And then that same night, she called me like 5 more times. And she said, when you get here, all we're going to do is be trying to talk you into coming here. All we're going to do is called me 5 times.
Wow.
So I took my walk, like I told you, and I think when I walk, I think pretty clearly. And I thought about it, and I pray a lot.
Yeah.
And the answer I got was she was so sincere. Mm-hmm. And when she found out I agreed to, I told her in a bad way, I told her, I'm not coming for a visit. She was like, oh, how come? And I said, because I'm going to move there. She was like, yay, yay, yay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you what that meant. She has no idea that I would take it that way, but she was genuinely wanted me to come back there. So that's what made me be able to make that decision, even though I'm nervous and I'm scared a little bit.
Yeah.
But like I said, with the bottom line is I know I'm not going to be homeless. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I could do almost anything, and they're not going to make me homeless.
That's awesome.
Well, and Edgar, I want to tell you that a lot of times we hear from people who are homeless or they are in a situation like yourself. You're in Kansas and you have no family. So to think about reaching out to family, first of all, it's embarrassing because you're in a situation that you never thought you'd be there, and you're afraid they're going to look down on you because of the situation. Mm-hmm. And we had those conversations. And it just makes my heart glad that your sister reached out to you. And, like you said earlier in the podcast, you had the opportunity to move into Northgate Manor. Your name came up on the list, and they called you and you said, well, I think I've got something else, but can you just move me down on the list and give me more time to think about it. And they said, sure.
And they called me again.
Oh, they called you again? That's awesome.
And then I just got a letter from them saying, I'm not going to be considered because I'm moving out of state.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm going to hang on to that. It might help me in the future.
Right, yeah.
Because I don't think I'll be staying where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'll eventually like to find a place for myself if I can.
Yeah, and there are senior places across the nation.
But you brought up about me contacting them. I was estranged. I'm 17 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
And I've been estranged from them because I felt like they were dishonoring their mother and father because they grew up in the same home I did. And I know as well as they know what their parents would expect if they had a brother or sister that was in my position, not because it was me, just any one of us.
Yeah.
To not stay in contact with that person or find out what they really might need that you can help them with.
Yeah.
So I pretty much was estranged from them because of that. I felt like they were dishonoring. Well, obviously, I just got a call yesterday from my one of my other younger brothers. All his kids have moved out of his house. He lives in a big home in Georgia somewhere. He said, why don't you come live with us? So now I got 3 or 4 of them.
You got some options, man.
Yeah, they're all saying, come live with me.
So you
now.
have to go check it out and see which one's the best deal, right?
Well, I told my sister that I'm moving in with. I said, I'm nervous and a little bit nervous about it. Because I love McPherson. I do like McPherson.
So you don't fly, and you're not taking that train ride. So how are you getting to Pennsylvania?
I am renting a U-Haul because I have some antique furniture, my wife's side of the family, that I'm going to take. I'm trying to get it to her niece in Florida.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't want to just get rid of it because it's antique stuff.
Sure.
So I was hoping to try to keep it in their family.
Yeah.
Plus, I have a couple rings that she wants that my wife wanted her to have.
Okay.
Sure.
So I think she'll find a way to get those because they're not cheap rings. They're worth something.
This is like a fairy tale, where you have the beginning and then you have the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm not saying anybody was. It just kind of worked out that way. And then you have the happy ending where the person finds everything they need. I love this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
I sure
amazing.
hope that's right. I sure hope that's right.
Yeah, we're going to believe for you that is exactly what's going to happen.
Well, after talking to my sister enough, she's genuinely sincere. I can just tell she's just very sincere.
And we'd always have you back, by the way.
Yeah.
You better watch saying that because that could happen.
I know.
Well, I already told her, I said, I feel like this is my home. We lived here for 28 years.
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, even though my financial position wouldn't let me come back here so easily, that doesn't mean that I won't
figure it out.
I can't say that I wouldn't because I do like McPherson.
Yeah.
So how long is your trip going to be? You said you're going to drive like 8 hours a day, and then
they estimated it 22 hours, I think.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to take my good old time.
Yeah.
I've driven it before. I've driven it straight through before.
Yeah.
I think I got there in 21 hours. But being older now, I've driven 3 times in the last 3 years, 3 or 4 times. So I thought, don't push it. Take your time.
Yeah, enjoy the sights along the way.
Yeah,
There's
instead
cool
of stopping
stuff.
at 8 o'clock at night for a room, stop at 6.
Yeah.
Sit back and relax a little bit. And
see the sights. I always think
take
it's
it
fun
easy.
to see the sights.
And I may come across something that I would like to see, and I'd probably do that.
Yeah, take some detours. And
I know one time I went home, there's a lake. My middle name is Carlisle. There's a lake not far from here, Carlisle Lake.
Oh.
So I spotted it on my way back from Pennsylvania. I pulled in, got a room at a hotel, and stayed there for 3 days and went fishing.
Okay.
You still have your poles?
Well, I don't have them on me, but they're at the house.
That's what I mean. You have your
But
poles.
I can always get fishing poles.
Yeah.
And I have a lifetime Kansas license.
Okay. Well, there you go then. We might catch him fishing on the side of the road before he gets to Pennsylvania. Well, I'm happy to know you have some options there.
Yeah.
With 17 siblings, are they all still alive?
No, there's like 7 of them have passed. My youngest sister is 66. I believe.
Okay.
So we're all up there.
Can you imagine 17 siblings? That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, it is. They planned 17.
That is a
They
whole
planned
community.
17. They had one set of twins.
They wanted to have 17
They
kids?
planned 17. They had 2. They were so smart. My mother had her first child when she was 16. But the way they must have thought it out. They had 2 years in a row they'd have children, they'd skip a year. 2 years in a row they'd have children, they'd skip a year. I think they actually knew in their mind each one of us would have a best friend.
Oh,
Like the one that was born a year away from me was my brother that was a year younger than me. He and I were like this our whole lives. We were He was on his way out here actually when he had a stroke. He was going to be coming out here to see me a week after he had a stroke and he passed away. But yeah, he was headed out here because we always have been tight. He's taken a lot of beatings for me because I've always been real little.
Yeah.
So, and he would, my brothers and sisters knew if it was a one-on-one thing, stay out of it, I'll take care of it. But if somebody else would jump in, then they would, do something about it. No, I wanted to, I was extra little, but I also was the same as any other guy. I want to fend for myself. I don't want you fighting my battles. I'll take, physical beatings, you get over physical beatings. It's the mental stuff that you don't do that you don't get over.
So if somebody's listening today and they're hearing your story and they're kind of struggling and having a really hard time, what would you say to that person?
I'm happy you asked that, actually, because the first thing that popped in my head was it's very, very difficult to want to reach out for help when you're in that position. I know I've been there for a while. You just don't want to ask people for help. Like you say, you're embarrassed or there's other feelings, but don't do it. Reach out. There's people out there that are genuinely happy to help other people. It's such an amazing thing. It really is. Because it's easy to say you're happy to help other people, but you people do it on a daily basis where you're helping people who maybe are having one of the worst days of their entire life. And you have no idea what that means when you get that relief from that person or when you get some kind of answer that gives you relief or peace of mind, even if it's for a short period of time. It's super important.
Well, Edgar, I count it one of the blessings of my life from the Lord that I got to meet you.
Wow.
And just a little bit of time that I've gotten to know you, you really have been one of those clients that came in and you're like, anything I can do to help you. And, we found you some things to do. And every day when I see you, even if it's not a very good day, you were always pleasant. And you just worked really hard to take control of your situation and make it better.
I appreciate that. That makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah. And I heard about you all the time, even though I'm not at the cottages.
Oh, wow.
I heard about you every day. Edgar this and Edgar that. I was like, I have to meet this person because he's really making an impact on the people that are there.
That. I hope I can make any little impact on anybody in a positive way.
Yeah.
You are an inspiration. What a good.
Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, this has been such a good podcast. I thank you, Edgar, for joining us. If you are listening and you know of somebody that would be interested in being on our podcast, maybe they have their own story to tell and how McPherson Housing Coalition was able to help them, or you would like to hear about a topic on our podcast, please leave us a review. Tell us what we need to do better. Housing for Good at McPhersonHC.org.
Have a great day.